Ah, oh, it is. It is a Reaction Monday episode of Dolphins Daily. No, Donno Daily. What am I thinking? Dolphins Daily. Oh, it hurts. It hurts. Donno Daily here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Oh man, I hope you guys are cool with the new start time. This is going to be daily 3 p.m. That's the new start time here on Donno Daily. If you're watching us live on YouTube, of course, you know why I've got the paper bag over my head today, because I'm a long-suffering Miami Dolphins fan. I am a long-suffering Miami Hurricanes fan as well. The Canes didn't even lose over the weekend, but they did lose De'Aaron King definitively. We found that out this morning. Manny Diaz was on the Joe Rose show, and coach announced that King is he's got no other choice. He's going to have surgery on his shoulder, so he's going to be out the rest of the year. It's going to be the Tyler Van Dyke show, and that includes this coming Saturday coming up against North Carolina. Miami Dolphins were humiliated. Miami Dolphins were taken out to the woodshed yesterday. They were supposed to lose. They were supposed to lose by about 10 points. That's what Vegas said. They weren't supposed to get spanked by 28 points. They weren't supposed to lose 45-17. We got so much to get to today. We're going to get to all of it. Alfredo Arteaga is going to join us at around 12. What at 12? I'm still thinking in the terms of the old time slot. We're on at 3 o'clock now. 3:15. Alfredo Arteaga is going to join us from 3 yards per carry. 3:40. Alana Tahauer is going to join us. That's going to be happy time because we can shift away from bad football and talk about good basketball, because Alana Tahauer covers the Miami Heat for 5 Reasons Sports. She also covers the Chicago Bulls for Clutch Points. So we have a lot to get to with Alana. We're going to talk to Alana at 3:40. That's going to be fun. Alfredo Arteaga segment, that's going to be more like, I don't know, a root canal. That's going to be rough. I want to remind you guys and welcome into everybody. Smash that like button if you're watching us live, and partake in the live chat on YouTube if you can. We have a lot of fun on there. And welcome into everybody who's already in the chat. I'll throw some shout outs in a minute. Want to remind you that Donno Daily is served by the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. That is the official sports bar of Donno Daily. And you know what? When you're watching the Dolphins lose, when you're watching the Hurricanes struggle, take advantage of the alcoholic specials, because that's going to help you get through some of those games, okay? All football season long, college football Saturdays, NFL Sundays, take advantage of the 5 for $15 ice-cold buckets of the Heineken family of beers and High Noon Hard Seltzer. Mix and match those to your heart's content. $5 ice-cold buckets for 5 beers for $15 ice-cold buckets. Delicious seafood at the Quarterdeck. They've got 2-for-1 happy hour. That is all day, every day. That never ends. Make the Quarterdeck your spot, not only for every football game, for every NBA game, NHL. They love the Panthers there as well. Miami Heat. You got so much coming up in the sports horizon with basketball and hockey getting underway. They also have every UFC pay-per-view fight for zero cover charge. You pay nothing at the door to watch a UFC pay-per-view at the Quarterdeck. The seafood is so delicious, guys. The sandwiches and burgers, awesome. The baby back ribs are so tender and so delicious. If you want to peep their menu before you go or find the location nearest to you, visit them online at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. We have an official sports book here on Donno Daily, and that is betus.com. I'll tell you, my betting weekend was good, very good. I didn't bet on the Dolphins game, and I'm happy I did because I was leaning Dolphins plus 10. I'm glad I stayed away from that one. But we won big on the UFC Fight Night event. We won on the Pittsburgh Steelers yesterday. BetUS has been serving clients for 3 decades, guys. They are the mainstay in the industry. They are known as America's favorite sports book because their customer service is on point and because they have odds on basically any sport and any game you can imagine. They offer the industry's best retail bonuses. They keep their players playing longer, and the BetUS loyalty program is legendary, guys. And you get your own customer service rep assigned right to you. The loyalty program and the bonuses is awesome, and we offer a special referral code. If you heard about this right here on Donno Daily and you want to sign up at America's favorite sports book, when you sign up at betus.com, type in our code 5RSN125, and they're going to give you a 125% sign-up bonus on top of your deposit. You deposit $100 with your credit card, they're going to give you $125 of additional free play money on top of that. Life is so good when you use our official sports book, betus.com. You play, you win, you get paid. betus.com. Good afternoon to JP, Spud McKenzie, Big Dan 305. I love the Donno Daily loyalists out there. Lewis M, thank you. Cliff Esmiol, my dude up in Connecticut, thank you so much for hopping in. Let's see. I know Big Dan, I think I mentioned him already. Chris Adams, who told me on a YouTube comment recently he likes the 3 p.m. time slot better. He can watch live every day. I appreciate that. David, hello. Devin Jordan, hello. He said it even before I did it. What's up, Donno? It's time to put the trash bag on. Time to bring the trash bag out. 100%. You know what the deal is. You know what the deal is on that one, my friend. We had to bring the trash bag out for this episode of Donno Daily. Alfredo Arteaga is going to join us in a few. Okay, a couple of the most concerning things here about the current state of the Miami Dolphins. They got their asses kicked yesterday by Tampa Bay. You know, Tom Brady has been in the league for over 20 years. And during that 2-decade-plus career, he's got 7 Super Bowl rings. You know, he has created some of the best accolades in the history of the quarterback position. But he did something yesterday he had never done before. Tom Brady yesterday, for the first time in his illustrious career, which is in its 3rd decade, Tom Brady threw for over 400 yards, 411 to be exact, and 5 touchdown passes for the first time in a single game in his storied career. He had never done that before, and he did that against the Miami Dolphins. Now, obviously, we've known for damn near 20 years that Brady had that in him, that it's not crazy to see him putting up stats like that in a game. But the fact that it happened against our team and it happened yesterday, I think is concerning. It's disturbing. Jerome Baker was getting picked on, was getting downright bullied in that game. Xavier Howard, probably his worst game as a Miami Dolphin. Is it fair to say that? Like Xavier Howard, and I know Antonio Brown is still a specimen even in 2021, but he made Antonio Brown look like 2016 Antonio Brown yesterday. Xavier is supposed to be, one of the top cover corners in the league. He's getting paid that way, and he got roasted and toasted yesterday by Antonio Brown. The last couple of games, coming off of the loss in Vegas, coming off the loss to the Colts, I had defended the Dolphins defense. I had been putting it more on the offense for hanging out the defense to dry, and on the special teams for putting them in bad field positions and all that. I had made excuses for the defense. I can't make any excuses for that defense coming out of yesterday. That defense was dog shit yesterday, and I cannot make any excuses for them. And I'll tell you why it looks troubling for Brian Flores if the performances on defense continue to get worse and worse, or if they continue to be as bad as they were yesterday. Now, the good news this coming week and the next couple of weeks, you got easier opponents, but this coming week, you've got a terrible 0-5 Jaguars team in London. But I will tell you, if you don't beat the Jaguars this coming weekend, you should probably just stay in London. Just move the franchise there. Keep playing at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium because you're basically the Tottenham Hotspur of the NFL. Just stay in London if you don't win this game against the Jaguars on Sunday. I think the Dolphins will win this game. They should win this game. But digging yourself into this 1-4 hole and playing the way you did yesterday, it's really, really, really bad. So what looks really bad here for Coach Flo, if performances like this defensively continue, when your head coach is a defensive-minded guy, and when your head coach is known, at least before he took this head coaching job, as one of the better defensive coaches in the league and a guy who's supposed to shore up and fix your defense, if your defense is terrible, that's a bad reflection on a defensive-minded coach, right? If you got a defensive-minded coach and the defense is great, the offense is really bad, you can make some excuses there. It's why 3 years running, Flores has different offensive coordinators every year, right? Because that's, okay, I've just got to find the right OC. That's not really on me. I've just got to find the right people to call the plays. But when the defense is bad, you have to blame that squarely on your defensive coach. And you've got some dogs playing on that defense. They should be better than they are. They should be better than what they showed yesterday. So that's a bad reflection on Flo. Another reflection on Flo. And listen, you hear things, but a lot of this is hearsay, okay? But you've got whoever's running the Twitter account from Perform, which trains a handful of Dolphins players. including Will Fuller and including Tua Tagovailoa. And the focus of the tweets from the Perform account yesterday were on Tua. Pull the first one of these up for me, Sean, because you have, and I'll have to pull the tinfoil hat on for this one, because you're seeing some signs here that that Brian Flores might be losing his locker room. And another sign of that, I think, is just the body language of these players on the field. Like they look like they're quitting on their coach, and you hate to see it. And I hope that's not what's happening here. But Perform writes, we're just not that good as a defense, as a team. Without our QB, we have no chance against the Super Bowl champs. And then the tweets get juicier and juicier here. Pull up the next one for me from Perform. Now, I want to emphasize something here, guys. It would not be fair to assume that just because the person tweeting from this account trains with, works with Tua, might be friends with Tua, it's not fair to assume that they're speaking for Tua. So I'm not going to make that leap. A lot of people are. A lot of people are making the leap that this person is basically saying the things that Tua can't say or that Tua is afraid to say. I don't think that's fair, because in a lot of the responses to tweets that Perform was writing last night, he was trying to make it abundantly clear, I'm a fan. I like Tua. This is my perspective, not his. Take these tweets as what I'm saying, not what Tua is thinking. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that, and it's unfair to assume this person is speaking for Tua in any way. But Perform also tweets, Ross, meaning Stephen Ross, is pissed. Team is bad, he says, but if Tua wins next week against the Jags, it's for sure, quote, the defense and Flores is coaching. He may not be wrong about that if Tua goes out there and beats the Jags next week, a lot of people are maybe going to put that credit on other factors and not on Tua. The kid deserves better, he writes. He got the shit end of the stick and above all has succeeded. In parentheses, he writes, maybe not your idiotic opinion, but the numbers do not lie. Now, maybe the most telling thing that Perform tweeted last night was actually something that the account deleted after the fact, because I don't think they wanted the smoke, okay? Because, again, I'll reiterate, whoever tweets from that account probably doesn't want people putting the heat on Tua, and they said, you know what? And the unfortunate fact about it, we all know this. If you're on social media, you see what important people, famous people, celebrities, public figures, deleting tweets doesn't really do anything because screenshots are out there. People have already quoted it. They've already taken snapshots of it. So unfortunately, deleting a tweet just doesn't make it disappear from all public record. It's still out there. But they deleted this tweet. They were responding to something that at Freddie Dub tweeted talking about Tua, and then Perform responded, quote, coming back to a team that quit on their coach while he's fighting for his job. Oh, no, that was what the original tweet said. Sorry, that was what the tweet from Freddie Perform said. And then here's the response from Perform. They said, quote, quit? This coach is hard to even talk to. How much harder do you think he is to play for? Child, please. They finished the tweet with. So listen, and again, that's the opinion of Perform. You know, somebody who tweets out from that account, they don't play on the team. They know several players who do. So chances are they're taking word from players, but I don't think it's fair to assume that they're speaking for Tua or for Will Fuller or for anybody that they might train on the Miami Dolphins. It's not fair to assume that, but there's definitely some smoke here. And this narrative is being created that Brian Flores is starting to lose his locker room. And unfortunately, this is always going to be a consequence when a team that plays for an old school disciplinarian type, because I think Brian Flores fits into that mold, right? He's got a little bit of dictator in him, which is pretty common for the old school mentality of football coaches, a very my way or the highway type of attitude. You can rally around coaches like that when you're doing well, exceeding expectations the way they did winning 10 games last year. They exceeded expectations 2 years ago just by winning 5 games. You can rally around the disciplinarian dictator type when you're winning games and playing well. But when the losses start to snowball and the problems really start to rise, it gets harder to back the coach with that sort of a mentality. So if there is a locker room being lost here, you look at the factors like a defensive-minded coach whose defense stinks right now, and a disciplined, old school-minded coach whose team isn't producing results, that's when the seeds of mutiny start to get planted. So I'm really starting to get concerned about it. I'm concerned about this for the first time now during Brian Flores' tenure, right? Because heading up into this past weekend where these players were getting their you-know-what kicked in the fourth quarter, getting outscored 21-0, because, hey, there were times in the first three when you were seeing signs of life from the Miami Dolphins. You know, the offense scored points on their first two drives. You started to see them attack down the field a little bit. They had 3-0 and 10-7 leads in the game. Early in the third quarter, where they entered the third quarter down 2 touchdowns, they pulled to within 7, and then that was all over in the snap of a fingers, and they got dismantled in the fourth quarter, and it looked like a lot of those players, if I go by the body language, were basically quitting on the field, and that can be a reflection on the coach. So for the first time in the Brian Flores tenure, I'm starting to have my doubts about Flo. I hope he can prove me wrong in the weeks to come. I hope he can, because up until yesterday, when we were talking about the negative factors surrounding this team, you know, and by the way, that quarterback in 2020 that they could have had at number 5 and went to number 6 instead, that guy, Herbert, if I want to pronounce it, you know, the way his French ancestors probably did, Herbert, that dude's an MVP candidate. And now all of a sudden, Justin Herbert is getting compared to Dan Marino, who was quarterbacking my team for 17 years and put up some of the most gaudy numbers of all time. Justin Herbert is starting to get compared to that guy, and we could have had him at number 5. And, you know, up until yesterday, the majority of my frustrations were directed at the general manager. And, you know, they were some of them directed at Flo, because you've had a mess on the offensive side of the football. But now once you start having a mess on the defensive side, which is his department, and you start to have some signs and rumblings that he doesn't have the full support of his players like he might have had last year, I am starting to have my doubts about Flo for the first time now in his third season as the Miami Dolphins head coach. And I'll tell you something frustrating, and I want to bring our guy Sean Stanley into the frame. I missed him last week. He had some stuff to attend to last week, so we missed Sean. Sean, you know, I know that a lot of us, of course, remember that you're out of the closet. You used to broadcast, figuratively speaking. You used to, actually, literally speaking, because figuratively would be you know, the other way. But you used to broadcast inside the closet with your clothes hanging up. You have upgraded your set. I haven't seen your beautiful face in about a week. We've had 2 Dolphins losses since the last time I saw your face. Are you okay, sir?
I am. I'm doing better than I thought I would be. Honestly, I knew we were going to lose to Tampa Bay. I thought it was pretty good up until they broke it open in the second half. But you know, but now you start seeing all these tweets coming out, and again, and you watch the Chargers game. I was kind of happy because when I first looked up, Herbert wasn't doing that. He had 2 touchdowns. Then he started throwing the ball around and some interceptions. I was like, okay, all right, that talk might not be that bad. Then he leads the comeback and wins. And then I was like, oh boy, it's going to get even worse. And then that's exactly where we're at right now.
Well, I'm happy to see you back, man. Sean Stanley, really, really good dude. And he's a suffering Dolphins fan like myself. Let's bring on our first guest of the show. People have been waiting for this one. You know, listen, as much as I hate losing, the only thing that makes losing better are Alfredo Arteaga's tweets when the team isn't playing well. I mean, I don't know. There's just something about, like, you tend to use your best material, Alfredo. Alfredo Arteaga from 3 yards per carry joins us. I think Angry Alf, Frustrated Alf is my favorite brand of Alfredo. So your best stuff seems to happen during times of adversity. So let me start here. And this some of this revolves around those perform tweets. One of them, the best one, has even been deleted. But like, what do your eyes and what do your spidey senses tell you? Do you think this team is starting to quit on Brian Flores?
I think that there's some on this team or around this team that don't care for Brian Flores. And now that he's down, it's probably a good idea to kick on him and hopefully he doesn't get up. I think that's what's going on right now. And it's a bad look though, right? But I think it's a bad look for those people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Brian Flores gets judged year to year. When the season is over, okay, you went 9-8, you went 8-9, you went 7-10. Okay, that was a failure. All right. You expected to make the playoffs. You didn't make the playoffs. Okay. You didn't do your job as well as you could have. Your defense wasn't good. That's your specialty. That's a strike against you.
Yeah.
But in season, when all the finger pointing comes around and all the whispers and the cryptic tweets and then the not so cryptic tweets from a guy that trains your quarterback, it's just a bad look. It's immature and unprofessional, and it's just a bad business practice, if you know what I mean.
Well, it's so bad to put your client in that spot because, like, for Perform, and I know, listen, you could say it's, whoever runs their account, it's his account, he can do whatever he wants to, but when you know that people aren't completely stupid, they're going to make the connection that, hey, these guys train Tua. They're going to start to assume, okay, what is Tua telling them behind the scenes? Or are they speaking for Tua? I think it's really unfair for your client to kind of air whether you're intending to do it this way or not, to air their dirty laundry. You should know that that's a reflection on Tua Tagovailoa when you tweet stuff like that.
Yeah, and now you're putting your quarterback. Not only did you welcome your quarterback back to the building on Monday, say, hey, here, congratulations, try to save a 1-14. But hey, oh, by the way, have you been on Twitter the last 24 hours?
Yeah.
You might have to say something to the media about it. Look, I'm almost certain that he's going to play on Sunday, which means he should meet with the media tomorrow, which is Tuesday. Starting quarterback always meets on Tuesday. So I could guess what the first question is going to be from the media. So I guess tomorrow's probably a good day to tune in to MiamiDolphins.com. There's a plug for the team. Tune into MiamiDolphins.com tomorrow for their player availability and see what Tua has to say about this, because he's going to have to address it because it's going to be asked.
Now, okay, let's talk about something that I actually thought was better yesterday, and I said this on Twitter that, believe it or not, I do have a couple of nice things to say about the Dolphins, and this is also a nice thing I'm going to say to you because you are basically Nostradamus. Like you basically predicted or at least prescribed that this should happen. The shuffle that they did on the offensive line, specifically the part on the left side, because
I got half of it right? I got half of it right.
Well, what was the part you got wrong? Because I know you were talking about Liam Eichenberg moving out to left tackle. Did you not say to try Austin Jackson at left guard, or was that?
No, I had Austin Jackson at left guard, but I wanted Robert Hunt moved out to right tackle and Jesse Davis.
Oh, and they moved Davis back
at UPS or on the bench or at FedEx or Amazon, whoever's hiring. Look, he knows a lot of football, right? Maybe Ethan could hire him. You know what I mean? True. That'd be that's a good guess for you to have to talk offensive line play once a week.
Instead of 3 yards per carry, 3 missed blocks per series, you can call that show.
Yeah. So I wanted Hunt to eventually move out to right tackle. I don't think Jesse Davis can handle it. He just can't. Just that he allowed another free run this time on Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett did very well to get away from what would have been a kill shot. Okay. Yeah. Because that one was coming from Shaq Barrett, and Shaq Barrett was coming in hot. He's a fast linebacker. He would have nailed Brissett. So yeah, I think, or you can move in the right guard and just put Hunt there at right tackle, and then who knows? Maybe you do have something. Maybe Austin Jackson develops as a guard. Liam Eichenberg, I just like what I've seen so far. He wasn't by all means great against Tampa Bay, but he was pretty good. I thought he was really good against New England. Okay. So if you get capable play on that left side, and we kind of know that Austin Reeder can play, and Dieter has good tape already at center, and then you really only have to solve one offensive line spot on the right side, namely a top-notch tackle. Yeah, you're starting to get somewhere with this offensive line.
And then another thing that I didn't hate. Jacoby Brissett played better than he did the last couple of weeks. Like he showed me a lot, more aggressive downfield. His accuracy was better than it was where it was so bad in the Indianapolis game, for example. And I admire his toughness. Like I don't know how many times in my life I've seen somebody carted off the field and then a minute and a half later he's good to play again. I don't see that very often. That happened to Jacoby Brissett. So I'm going to have to respect his toughness for that. How do you think he played? And then part B of that question is, with the outcome of that game, and I don't mean win or losses, but maybe the scoreboard have been different had Tua played.
I don't think it would have been very much different because You got to think about it like this. Tom Brady has played, I don't know how many games in his career. Okay. He's played, what is it now? This is his 21st season.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? You just witnessed the greatest game that Tom Brady has ever played in his life. And that's an actual fact. It's 144 quarterback rating, number 1 in his career, 418 yards and 5 touchdowns. The first time he's ever done it in his career. So you witnessed his best game. I thought Jacoby Brissett played just fine. He played really, really well. I thought he played really well. I'm going to give him actually more credit than just fine. I thought he played really, really well. I think he wasn't helped on a couple of plays. But you just can't help but think, man, if you get this Jacoby Brissett against the Las Vegas Raiders, or you get this Jacoby Brissett against the Colts, maybe they're sitting at 3-2 right now. Yeah. But they just didn't. They got bad quarterback play. And now they got it against a team where, quite frankly, they had not too much hope against.
So, and I agree with you on the quarterbacking yesterday, because it was really the defense that lost you that game. They had no chance. Xavier Howard was getting cooked. To me, his worst game in a Miami Dolphins uniform. Is that excusable in any way? Because he was playing on the inside, and he was, going up against Antonio Brown, who looked like himself from like 4 or 5 years ago. Is that worrisome in the long term? Can you write that off and just say, you know what, X is not going to play that badly ever again?
Well, here's the thing. He was on the injury report briefly, so maybe he was battling something. So was Byron Jones. Byron Jones was battling 2 injuries, okay? And he ended up playing, which is a good sign for him, and his toughness. But, I didn't like the scheme yesterday. Usually against Tom Brady, what you want to do is you want to flood the short zone, and you want to keep a lot of guys in the passing lanes. And then you want to be judicious with your blitzes, bring 5 every once in a while, rush 4, rush 3. And then you got to live with the deep shots. Yeah, I understand. Right. Okay, yeah, they got Antonio Brown, they got Mike Evans, they could get you deep. But they got you deep anyway, right? So might as well limit all of that stuff underneath where Tom Brady keeps those chains moving. And then you got to live with the deep shots that he's going to get on you. I thought, Xavier Howard was bad, but I don't think he was helped by the scheme. And you got to understand, they cooked Xavier Howard for an entire first half. And they said, you know what? You're done. Let's move on to Byron Jones. And let's get him for 2 quick touchdowns here in the second half. So nobody really played well. It's except Jalen Phillips, right? Like Jalen Phillips, and
I was happy about that. I'm glad you brought that up, because I got a little sidetracked. Because when I told you I do have a few positives, believe it or not, that was one I was going to get to. I'm happy Jalen Phillips gets his first full sack. So finally, I'm so happy for him.
Yeah, so it's just really hard to point fingers at Xavier Howard when nobody really played well and everybody really got beat pretty bad. Even your better players. Nick Needham got cooked.
Yeah.
Eric Rowe got cooked. It was bad all around in that second. There was Tom Brady at his best, and Tom Brady just, come on, the guy was 30 of 41 for 400 yards. Like, there's nothing you could do against that. Bad game plan, bad play, really good quarterback, really good skill players. That was the result.
I'll tell you, one of my takes that aged especially poorly heading into that game was, and I didn't guarantee this, but I opined on this very publicly a handful of times, where, hey, maybe Brady will have a bit of a letdown game, a bit of an emotional letdown, because a week prior, he's back in Foxborough. That had to be one of the most emotional games in his life. Like, that was probably right up there, or like maybe a spot behind the first Super Bowl he started in. Like, going back to Foxborough, that was a big emotional game. He got the close win there. I thought, hey, maybe Brady's going to have the emotional letdown game. He didn't even have an emotional letdown play. Like, he was perfect. Yes.
No, it was the exact opposite. He didn't play all that great against New England. And then it went back to the other trope, which is he doesn't have 2 bad games in a row, right? So I guess you could consider that game against New England his bad game, and then he was just going to be lights out against the Dolphins, and he was. Perfect weather, everything lined up against Miami, and Brady just executed. It was just, did they even punt?
They punted once. I think they punted one time.
So they got one victory.
So everybody who was worried about how Jalen Waddle's going to get super tired returning punts, if your defense keeps playing like that, we don't even have to worry about it, right? Like, if he's returning 1 punt per game, he'll be fine.
Yeah, and although the flip side of that is they're going to get to kick off a lot, right?
Oh, yeah, that's a
But
good point.
they kick off through the end zone, so nobody tends to care. I also found it ridiculous that I didn't get to see the Bears play, but I've heard that Bears fans are out on Jakeem Grant after one day because
Oh, no, I didn't see their game. Oh, what happened?
Evidently, he fielded a punt. You heard that correctly. He fielded a punt, not a kickoff, 5 yards deep into his own end zone and brought it out.
What?
Yes.
Even for him, that's bad.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know what would possess you to do that, but he did. Okay. Wow. So, Bears fans are out on Jakeem Grant, although they got the big victory yesterday against the Raiders.
Yeah. Well, it's and yesterday was we had some wild games yesterday. I mean, and that included all the missed field goals in the Green Bay Cincinnati game. We had Sunday Night Football, the Bills beating the crap out of KC, which surprised me. I thought KC, I know they hadn't been great to start the year, but I thought that they were going to save their best at home for Buffalo. As far as the Dolphins are concerned, all right, I want to turn the page on the debacle yesterday, and I want to look to the near future. This game coming up against the Jaguars, this should be the slump buster, right? Because for as bad as the Dolphins have been, Jacksonville is really bad. And outside of maybe the fact that they probably have a franchise quarterback, I think that they would gladly trade places with the Miami Dolphins because, people are starting to doubt the Dolphins head coach, but at least our head coach is not embroiled in a scandal the way that their head coach is over the last week. So are you concerned at all about this game coming up? Because this should be the slump buster.
I'm not concerned at all, but, check with me in the third quarter, Sunday morning. But, they got to win this game. And I don't do that to win this game, but they got to start putting some wins together here in the near future because 8-9, 7-10, 9-8 was not what they envisioned. They envisioned a team that was going to compete for a playoff spot. You got to get to 10 if you want to even have a shot at a playoff spot, which means that they got to run off a pile of these wins against teams that they might be favored against. Yes, I understand that they're 1-4, but if you look forward and you look at the futures books, like they're going to be favored in a bunch of these games that could just
because after the Jaguars they have the Texans, I think, right after that, right?
They have Atlanta.
Atlanta. Okay.
Yeah, then they have a tough game, but then they play the Jets in 2 weeks. Play the Jets and the Giants inside of 1 month. Okay, and the Giants might not have their quarterback or their running back.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they play Carolina, who's weakening and getting injured as well. So even if they just win the games that they're favored against, that they're favored in, for the rest of the season, that could take them to 9 wins. So, they're expected to win a lot for the balance of the season. So, if they lose on Sunday, it's obviously a massive red flag.
Yeah.
And it's the season, essentially.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Really great stuff. We always appreciate Alf stopping by, making time for us on Mondays and adjusting to the new time slot, right? Because he was a staple with us at 12:15. I'm happy you're available at 3:15 as well. I was worried about that when we changed the show time, that some people may not be able to join us, but everybody's been super accommodating. We're also going to have Alana Tahauer is going to be on in less than 10 minutes with us. So Alfredo, and by the way, you guys are kicking ass on 3 yards per carry. I was listening before the game yesterday. Obviously, the game yesterday was a travesty, but I enjoyed the preview episode you guys did earlier in the week. 3 yards per carry should be a staple. That's must-listen pod for every Miami Dolphins fan. Let people know when the next one's dropping, and if you have any other appearances on the network this week, the next time people are going to see you or hear you, let the folks know.
We drop Mondays and Wednesdays. Tonight, there will be one late tonight. Think 10-ish. We'll drop our latest episode. Obviously,
how late you guys make Simon stay up over there? I mean, let's remember that time change, bro. It's not fair.
Yeah, I know. He's in the middle of the night doing podcasts. Like sometimes you hear him whispering because he doesn't want to wake up his wife. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, Mondays and Wednesdays, and you'll see me across all these platforms. You might see me on the extra yard screaming at Juan, or agreeing with Michael. So yeah, just look for me everywhere on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I also do a Buffalo Bills podcast too. So
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the regular Dolphin guest that they get to laugh at every week.
I gotcha. Okay, so I was like, I thought maybe you're like also a guy who covers the Bills, and I'm just learning about this right now.
Oh,
Like,
this
what?
gets if this gets worse and worse, I'm gonna start a Cowboys podcast or something. And you could have me on to talk about Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott and all those guys.
Oh man, well listen, I appreciate the work that you do. Alf_Artiaga. Oh, of course, Manny, the Eagles fan, as well. Well, Manny, if your Eagles, I think they did win yesterday, right? But if your Eagles didn't suck so bad, maybe he'd start an Eagles pod. But tell your franchise to stop sucking so much ass.
Listen, every fan base but the Chargers is wishing we had a Justin Herbert right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Chargers, I don't think at this point would trade him for anybody. I mean,
No.
maybe Pat Mahomes. Although, who was it? Jimmy Johnson. Yeah, you're right. Well, and I was going to say, and Jimmy Johnson even said over the weekend that if he was starting a franchise, he would want the quarterback to start that franchise with Justin Herbert over Pat Mahomes. And listen,
Yeah, I'm
actually,
gonna say,
maybe he's right.
I'm going to say something here that has probably never been said in the history of this earth. Pat Mahomes has not played well.
He's not. You're right. You're right.
He's just not playing well. Like, that Chiefs team is not playing well as a whole, and their quarterback is just not playing well. He is holding the ball. He's looking for big plays, not taking what is given to him, especially with the athletes he has on offense. He's just not playing well. And It was really evident last night. Like, that was just not a good performance.
Well, I appreciate you, man. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll be looking out for the new 3 yards per carry late tonight. Or I'll probably get to it tomorrow because I go to bed very early.
All right. Thank you for having me, Don.
You're welcome. Hey, guys, listen to Big Dan. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Even if you don't like the show, smash the like button. How about that? 64 people in the live chat, only 14 likes. Hit that like button for Donno. That's right. Hit it for 5 Reasons Sports. If you don't hit it for me, hit it for Sean Stanley. Hit it for Manny Chang. Hit it for the Dolphins. Maybe the only thing that can turn this Dolphins franchise around is a few more likes. Bills D is real. Das Hust. How do I say Das Hust? Das Hust? Are you German? I'm desperate to know how to properly pronounce that. But yeah, the Bills D is absolutely real. We got some unfortunate news this morning, and I want to make sure. Okay, Dash. All right, good enough. I want to make sure that you understand, guys, that there's not really a controversy here with De'Aaron King having surgery. Can you pull up the screenshot for me of because De'Aaron King responded to this, and then I think Manny Navarro did an excellent job explaining to everyone that just he the way he worded it was misleading, not intentionally. And Manny Navarro is my dude. I would take a bullet for that guy. He is responsible, very good journalist, great reporter. He just typed something, inaccurately, and he fixed it. He explained it. So Manny Navarro listened this morning to Manny Diaz on the Joe Rowe show. I listened to it as well, just to make sure I had the context straight. And Manny Diaz this morning announced that De'Aaron King is having season-ending surgery on his shoulder, which means not only is his season done, Kings, his University of Miami career, sadly, is done because he's out of eligibility now. And it's unfortunate because I had very high expectations for King this year. He was awesome last year. And I want to thank De'Aaron King for being a great Kane, a great role model, and a great player on the field, specifically last year. He allowed me to dream a little bit last year because he had such a good season. Like, he allowed me to kind of fantasize about the U coming back. And I don't know how bad Miami would have been if not for De'Aaron King last year, because there was a handful of games where he put the team on his shoulders and he went out there and won some games single-handedly. And I thank him for that. So Manny Navarro had listened to Manny Diaz this morning and tweeted, Miami coach Manny Diaz told WQAM on Monday morning it's, quote, Tyler Van Dyke's team going forward. He did say that. He said, Diaz said starter De'Aaron King, who injured his shoulder against Michigan State, has opted to have season-ending surgery. So people swarmed like vultures around the word opted, right? So you start to have people then accusing De'Aaron King of deciding he didn't want to play anymore, which is not what happened. People also accused Manny Diaz of throwing King under the bus to make it sound like he was quitting on the team. Guys, I listened to the interview, and also Manny Navarro clarified it, because Manny's a great dude. Again, let me emphasize that Manny Diaz never used the word opted. I listened to the interview. Manny made it very clear De'Aaron King wanted to play. De'Ara King wanted to come back. And when he was initially told he would need surgery, he went and found multiple second opinions. Can you get multiple second opinions? I guess it'd be more like a second, third, fourth opinion. He went out and sought other opinions. And then after a few weeks, they came to the conclusion that he had to have surgery. That was his best option. And so, yeah, so the word opted makes it sound like either Diaz was throwing King under the bus or the King quit. None of those things are true. Diaz did not use that word. That was just a poor choice that Navarro used to describe what Diaz said, and he corrected it. He fixed it. So let that controversy die. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. De'Ara King wanted to play, and Manny Diaz did not throw him under the bus in any way, shape, or form. Now, it is going to be the Tyler Van Dyke show for at least the next few weeks. You would expect the rest of the season, but I say at least the next few weeks because Jake Garcia at some point in November is going to be healthy enough to play again. So God forbid Van Dyke is really struggling. Garcia could get opportunities to play. But listen, the team is not good. We know that. It's sad. We know the reasons why they're not good. And they had another high-profile decommit today from a 4-star player. The class of 2022 right now is ranked 59th. And we're less than 2 months away from early signing day. So there's a lot of bad mojo surrounding this program right now. But as far as Tyler Van Dyke, he showed me in the second half of that Virginia game, I think this kid can play. And I'm looking forward to seeing him step on the field again for these next handful of games because Van Dyke really grew into that game, got a lot more comfortable. That was his first ever collegiate start. First ever collegiate start against an FBS team, I should say, because he started against Central Connecticut. But the first big time start for him, he grew into the game well. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in the coming weeks. I'm looking forward to turning the page on all this football misery. And I feel like a broken record because every time Alana Tahauer comes on, I say the same thing, that I waste so much of my breath and so much of my blood, sweat, and tears talking about the Dolphins and Canes letting me down. The Heat are having a tremendous preseason so far. They are back at it tonight. We bring in Alana Tahauer here from the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Alana, you always bring some sunshine into my Mondays. How are you?
I'm good, but you know what? It's pouring outside, so I'm going to have to bring my own sunshine to the Shy today too. But I'll take it. It finally feels like fall again. Yesterday was too warm for my liking.
Oh, okay. It's always too warm here for my liking, so
that's fair too. I don't have to struggle with that at least.
Oh man, and one of my friends who I work with was up in Tampa for the Dolphins game yesterday, and I guess and they like to give him every week, like when he travels with the Dolphins, he works on the Dolphins broadcast. They assign him a restaurant to eat at the opposing city, but for some reason, like in Tampa, they assigned him to eat at a Chicago import. I know you're not a meat eater, you've told me, but he went to Portillo's.
Oh no, I just don't eat red meat. I love Portillo's.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask you, is that legit? Because I told you last week, I've never been to Chicago. Maybe I'll go to Tampa and get some Portillo's.
Portillo's is bomb. Their chocolate cake especially is crazy good. But I always get their grilled chicken sandwich. They have obviously really good Italian beef, burgers, etc. But their fries are really good too. So 10 out of 10. Did your friend like it? Did you get?
Yeah, he did like it.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he said he loved it. I just thought it was funny that he's in Tampa and they couldn't find anything Tampa to assign him. He eats at Portillo's in Tampa. Okay.
Well, Chicago does food well, so.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So, first thing I got to get your take on with the Heat. You look at what they've done in preseason so far. Tyler Hero, baby goat, he's averaging a point per minute so far in the preseason. I have been blown away, and I know it's preseason, but I've been blown away by what he's been doing so far. Are we going to have the breakout year from the baby goat? Because, Alana, I said it last week, if he keeps playing like he's playing now, we're going to have a big 4, not a big 3.
I don't expect him to look as good during the regular season. It is preseason. Guys are out. He obviously has ample playing time and more opportunity. But I do think there will be quite an uptick from last season. I've said this both on Feel the Heat and Clutch Corner. I'm probably looking at maybe him averaging about 18 points a game. But that's good enough for me, especially, energizing that second unit. He has looked great, though. I think his confidence is back. I think the fact that, he put in the necessary work the offseason and they're rested. I feel like that is so key, and people really don't understand how much that's meant to the team, not only physically, but mentally, too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I noticed Ethan was tweeting about this, and I'm kind of surprised by it as well as a lifelong Heat fan, especially a Heat fan over the last decade or so. Ever since the big three, the people like to tear us apart. But there's a new ESPN poll, best managements in the NBA,
Mhm.
and they actually ranked the Miami Heat number one.
They
Heat
sure
1,
did.
Raptors 2, Milwaukee 3, Denver 4, OKC, Clippers or Lakers, then Clippers and Nets. I don't want to go on and bore everybody, but this is odd. And I think it was the GM poll actually had Spoelstra as the best coach.
Mhm.
And I'm not used to this, Alana, because usually the Heat are getting underrated and disrespected. I'm not used to seeing them getting so many accolades from their peers and from TV networks. Is this brave new territory? And maybe it's a bad thing that people are starting to now respect the Heat.
No, you know what? I think it's about time. I think we do kind of like being overlooked. We like having the chip on our shoulder, but it'll come. Like people, as soon as the season starts and, teams like the Nets and the Lakers and whatnot, kind of start looking like themselves, the Heat are going to be forgotten about again. We can have that chip on our shoulder going into, the postseason, but it's nice to be recognized for now. I will say, I feel like even though sometimes Spoelstra does kind of seem to be forgotten, he has always been kind of highly regarded as an elite coach. I also think that most people understand how, the front office is unparalleled. They're bar none in terms of Riley and all the guys around him. So I don't feel like the front office and or coaching staff has necessarily gone so overlooked. It's more so, the way that the team is constructed. I do think it helps though that now we have, a much better looking team. Fans are fickle. The media is fickle. They kind of ride the wave, which I don't agree with, regardless of what Michael says. That is just not a concept I can stand behind. But it is about time. But I'm not holding my breath to think that we're going to be, at the top of everyone's list moving forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And even like, I think this is what John Kahn is trying to stay here. Oh no, they respect the Heat. OMG. It's like I'm not used to this. I kind of prefer. Because I know a lot of Heat fans claim that they hate it when you're not respected, but I
but
think
they
in
love
reality,
it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
like, I
they
think
thrive off it.
They don't realize how much they thrive off of it because everyone loves to have a chip on the shoulder a lot.
Yeah, and I think the fans follow suit from the team. They love that. They love being the underdogs. They love putting up a fight. They don't want to go in being the favorites. And I think that regardless of what fans say, I think they feel the same.
So after Hero, because it's obvious, who have been some of the other top standouts for you in the 3 preseason wins so far?
So I have to be honest, I did not catch game 2 or 3 because I was actually working, which was very sad. I did catch some highlights though, and Max Strus definitely has been looking good. I don't think it's a surprise to anyone, coming out of summer league. The guy's work ethic is crazy. He's a great shooter. But I think it's nice to know that it's consistent so that we have someone else to count on there. I know, game 1, I was talking about this, the chemistry just looked crazy good. Their energy was there. They were having fun. And it seems like it's been carrying on through games 2 and 3. I'm excited to see, what happens tonight because finally I can watch. But hopefully we can keep it going. Maybe we'll be undefeated.
Wouldn't that be something? Which would be, who cares about preseason, but undefeated? Because a lot of people mistakenly say 82-0, but the real number is 98-0. Because
Michael has made that very clear. He is really the ringleader of this movement. You know what? As long as we're looking better, we're looking fresh, we're motivated. There's going to be ups and downs. It's not going to be perfect. I know, I like to get excited over preseason. I'm not saying that it's going to be indicative of the rest of the year, but like take what you can get, enjoy the fact that we're looking good, take the wins, and just like people who kind of are like, oh, it's just preseason, calm down. You calm down.
Well said. Alana Tahauer joins us here on Donno Daily on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. So what are some of the big things we need to watch out for from the Bulls? Because you cover them. It's an Eastern Conference rival. How have they been looking so far in preseason? Have they been gelling?
They look great, and all the guys are getting minutes, obviously, except for the guys who are injured. Kobe Wood and Patrick Williams are both out, but it's going well. Zach LaVine looks as explosive as before. Lonzo's ball movement is crazy. DeMar has been very solid. There's some secret kind of guys coming out. Javonte Green, I feel like, has steadily earned himself a rotation spot. I'm interested to see Kobe White. I think is going to be the question mark because he had such a different role before, but they're looking great. Fans are excited and I'm excited too. I still have them maybe at 5th, but like they could sneakily take the 4th spot. I don't think they'll come in higher than the Heat still, but they're looking good so far.
Well, that's awesome. And everyone, you want to make sure you follow Alana at Alana Tahauer on Twitter. And I know you and Michael work your butts off on Feel the Heat. When can people hear you again? And do you have any other appearances coming on this week on 5 Reasons?
Yeah, so Michael's actually traveling back home today. He was in Portland all weekend. So we can't record tonight, but we will record tomorrow, which means the new episode will be up Wednesday. And then Clutch Corner will be Wednesday night. So you get like a double dose of me on Wednesday, basically.
That is excellent. Well, Lana, enjoy the rest of your Monday. Enjoy your week, and I hope it stops raining over there.
Yeah, thanks.
It was raining here as well earlier on today. Awesome job there from Alana Tahauer. Want to shoot some hellos here in the chat. Dashus, who I think we mentioned before. Big Dan 305 says the Miami hate is real, which is kind of why it's scary that they're starting to come around and give Spoelstra and Riley more credit than they usually do. John Kahn restated the question I stated on the title of this episode. Have the Dolphins hit rock bottom? To answer the question in a very direct way, I think so, and I hope so, that they've hit rock bottom this year because the grass is going to get greener with your upcoming games. If you can't beat the Jaguars this coming weekend, I said it before, I'll say it again, you might as well just stay in London and become the London losers. Just stay over there, keep playing your games at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Don't even come back. Don't even take a flight back if you lose to the Jaguars in London. But I think this is rock bottom. I think you're going to start. The results are going to get better. We're expecting Tua to come back this week. I know Tua will probably never be as good as Justin Herbert, but he's still better than Jacoby Brissett. He's going to give this team a better chance to win every week. So hopefully Tua can stay healthy. If there is a trade to be had for Deshaun Watson over the next 2.5 weeks, we shall see if something transpires there. It's gotten pretty quiet on that front. I don't know if that means anything significant. I have seen that there are a couple of folks in the broadcasting industry who have been tweeting about something maybe brewing with Watson this week, but I don't know where they're getting their info from because my info has gotten very quiet. As far as I'm concerned, nothing has really changed from about a week ago when I was told the ball is in Houston's court. So I can't imagine that Mr. Ross is very happy right now with the results of his football team. Maybe Mr. Ross is, and this is just me spitballing here, maybe Stephen Ross is starting to think we've got a lot more to fix right now than quarterbacks, so I shouldn't be in any rush to pull the trigger on this. But yeah, it's been, as far as I'm concerned, it's been pretty quiet on the Deshaun Watson front for about the past week or so. It also might mean whoever the leaks were might have been told not to be leaking anymore. I can't exactly say what's going on there. And by the way, I like Ernest. I was going to call him Ernesto, but I think his name is just Ernest. Tweets out, nonetheless, Manny Navarro has inadvertently hitched Manny to King, giving up on the team, but prospects seemingly have. Yeah, talking about the decommit today. Here's the bigger thing that I want to put the tinfoil hat on here for a second. Hold on. So here's the other thing, and you can call it a conspiracy. Maybe it's not a conspiracy, but aren't we now seeing a new Manny Diaz excuse getting built in that Manny can now use this to plead the AD, who probably shouldn't even still be the AD, and the university president, who, according to Barry Jackson and Kirk Herbstreit, doesn't really care a whole lot about the athletic department. But if Manny finds himself in a situation where he's got to plead for his job, doesn't it become now a convenient excuse to say, what do you expect from us in 2021 when our starting quarterback is out for the year and can't play? That he's now got an excuse that if Miami ends up not winning enough games to be bowl eligible for the first time since 2007, I think that was the last time. Now, there was a year where Miami didn't play in a bowl game because they self-imposed for the Nevin Shapiro stuff, but they think they won 6 games that year, so they technically won enough to be bowl eligible. 6 games is the minimum. I think the last time Miami only had 5 wins or less in a season was the first year of Randy Shannon, 2007. They went 5-7. So there's a good chance they end up with only 4 or 5 wins all year. And if that's the case, doesn't Diaz now have a built-in excuse? Well, what do you expect when our starting quarterback's out? We've got to rely on a freshman quarterback. I think it's a hollow excuse, because how good was this team playing before King got hurt? They were already bad. They were already awful before De'Aaron King got hurt. They're awful now. I don't, it's not a quarterback problem for this team. It goes a lot deeper than that. Mush also mushes the weather, says Brooklyn Rob. Yeah, absolutely. Oh man, I'm tired. Sean Stanley, you as tired as me? Are you as tired of the local teams letting us down? Thank God for the Heat, who play Charlotte tonight. The Florida Panthers are about to start their regular season. I think they can be really, really good this year. It takes a lot out of me. It really does. And Marla is writing to me, you disparaged the Canes today. What do you want? What do you want me to do today? What do you want? It's all sunshine and rainbows. What am I supposed to say? Sean, what am I supposed to say?
They didn't lose this week. They didn't lose this week. You can't disparage the Canes.
They lost a commit. They lost a quarterback. I mean, they lost something.
But they didn't lose a game.
They didn't lose a game. You're right about that. You can't lose when you can't play.
About the Miami Dolphins.
Oh man! By the way, pull up. I tweeted out a stat this morning. Because I had somebody on Twitter trying to tell me that for the Miami Dolphins, how bad they've been, that you could use Tua being out as an excuse for that. Not that one. The one that I tweeted with the meme. That you can use Tua as an excuse for that. But here's the thing. Okay. This is the Dolphins plus minus this year when going up against Super Bowl contenders. Okay. The Miami Dolphins, they have faced 2 Super Bowl contenders. That was the Bills week 2 and the Buccaneers week 5. And they've been outscored in those games by a combined 63 points. A combined 63 points. The gap should really not be that wide, I said. And I had someone disagreeing with me. What do you expect when quarterback 1 isn't healthy enough to play? First of all, I don't care if quarterback 1 played yesterday or not. The defense got absolutely scorched. There's nothing Tua Tagovailoa could have done about that. Would they have put up maybe another touchdown, maybe another field goal? Possibly. But you were still going to get shredded. That was really on the defense, that loss yesterday. That was on the defense, and that was on coaching. And the Bills loss, even with Tua getting hurt earlier in that game, he wouldn't have not made up for that 35-0 drubbing that the Dolphins took. That still would have been bad if Tua had played the entire game or not. So this is more than just a quarterback. When you're talking about being minus 63 against the 2 best teams you played so far, it was Barry Jackson who pointed this out yesterday on one of his tweets. He gets very frustrated, Barry Jackson from the Miami Herald. These are the types of results, getting drubbed 45-17 and 35-0. Those are the types of results you would expect when you've got an FBS team in college going up against an FCS team, right? Like Alabama versus Mercer, Pitt versus New Hampshire, Miami versus Central Connecticut. You expect ass beatings like that when you've got FBS going up against FCS. The NFL is a league all about parity. Now, I get it. Teams like the Jaguars sometimes will get their tails beaten up, but the Jaguars are not 3 years into a rebuild like the Miami Dolphins are. Like, you expected results like yesterday. You expected that 2 years ago when they cut and traded everybody and they put a wrecking ball to the roster. They were starting fresh. You expected that 2 years ago. You maybe expected that some of that early last year when you had a rookie quarterback playing for the first time. But with all the picks, all the players you've signed, all the trades you've made, and Brian Flores said it before the season started. Let's not forget this. Brian Flores was asked about the rebuild, and before the season, he said, this is not a rebuild. We're not rebuilding anymore. Like, the rebuild is done. This is the team. We're competing now. Hello. They're not competing. So it's frustrating. This team cannot pick a quarterback right. If it smacked them beside the head, they're clueless. Well, they did have one smack them beside the head. Not only did they pass on Justin Herbert at 5th overall, you know who coached Justin Herbert in the Senior Bowl? got him for a full week. Brian Flores and his staff at the time. They coached Justin Herbert at the Senior Bowl, Flores and his staff, and they said, no thanks. They should have known what they had there. All right, I want to throw a shout out here before we wrap it up. I'm sweaty. I'm annoyed. Can't stand the globalists. They're getting crazy. Illuminati. I want to throw a shout out to a new sponsor who's going to be coming aboard next week. I'm really looking forward to this. I had a chance to meet the owners, the partners who run this business, and I love what they're doing. A couple of incredibly bright guys. They are researching the sports betting industry and helping people make money and doing a high-level job at that. Nick and Dylan from the Daily Stakes. The Daily Stakes is going to be joining up with us, making smarter sports betting decisions. These statistical models that they use, the algorithms that they use, and the advice that they provide, like I was blown away talking to these dudes and tracking their picks in recent weeks. It's really remarkable. So they're going to be joining up with us as a new partner here on Donno Daily and the 5 Reasons Sports Network starting next week. And I am really looking forward to this because I'm telling you, this is pretty revolutionary, the way that they are combining analytics with research, human research with analytics and statistical models. It's a hard one for me to say. They're doing a great job. Whether you're new to sports betting or you're an experienced player looking to get an edge against the books, the Daily Stakes empowers you with the same analytics used by both the sharps and the sports books. So be on the lookout. The Daily Stakes is going to be joining us next Monday, and I cannot wait for that. See everyone tomorrow. Rafa in Miami writes, Donno gonna ruin this company, he says. I'll let them give the advice, not me. I'm not gonna mush them. They're gonna set you guys straight. I told them what you guys say about me being the mush, so they know. So huge shout out to David, to Rafa in Miami, Brooklyn Rob, John Kahn, Bob J. I'm gonna try to throw shout outs. I know I'm gonna miss some people, and I apologize in advance for that because I try to scroll up and not read the repeats. Brooklyn Rob, Marco T, thank you for tuning in. Dash Oost, thank you. RC in the 305. Zachary B, hello, thank you so much. Big Dan 305, who wrote in for Tyler Hero, going to be 6th man of the year. I agree. He might even end up being the highest scorer on that roster. Joseph Rodriguez, who said, what's up, Donno? What is up, Joseph? Thank you so much for tuning in, my friend. Spud McKenzie, Andy MG1, who says, fire Flo, fire Greer, Ross, sell the team today. He is angry. I don't blame him. Alfredo Garcia, who says, hockey is back tomorrow. I am so happy. The NHL. I love hockey. I love it. I love the Florida Panthers. I think they can do big things this year. Ernest, thank you so much for tuning in. Andres Davia, thank you so much for getting in on the show. Reggie, thank you. Welch, I love Welch. Thank you so much. He says about the Jags, should be the slump buster. Typically, Urban uses his fingers for that. Well played. Very well played. Nick Lotzery, thank you. Bo Leg. Now I'm trying not to read the same ones over and over and over again. Trying to find somebody new. Hello. Josh Ritter, thank you so much for tuning in today. JP, thank you so much. I already mentioned Spud McKenzie. Chris Adams, I love this dude. He would always tell me, I can't wait till you move to 3 o'clock so I can actually watch live. He usually had to catch the replays at noon. Hey, Donno, do you think Tua can bring this team back up to par? It looks to me that that's a team on the field with no heart. I'm worried about Flo. Is he losing this team? Yeah, man. I don't know if you missed the first few minutes of the show, but I am very worried about that. I'm worried that he's starting to lose this locker room. All right, I think that'll do it for the shout outs. Thanks to everyone for watching live. Make sure you tell your friends. We do this every single day, every weekday, 3 p.m. to around 4 p.m. The mush may have found a savior. If there's anybody who could save my mushes, it's Nick and Dylan from the Daily Stakes. If I don't, these guys do know what they are doing, my friends. And listen, whether you're betting my picks or fading my picks, make sure you're using the official sports book of Donno Daily, and that's betus.com. Guys, this is a full-service sports book. It's like, if you've ever been to a sports book in Vegas, it's like that, except it's on your mobile phone. It's on your computer. You can lock in bets and live bet on sporting events anytime you want to. I have at times pulled over my car to place a bet on the side of the road. It's that easy to do on your mobile phone. BetUS.com. They've got odds on everything. Monday Night Football tonight. Baltimore versus Indianapolis. I think Baltimore is about a touchdown favorite in that one. I think I'm leaning towards taking Baltimore. So Brooklyn Rob, if you want to fade my pick, this is your chance to lock in Indy. BetUS.com. It's so easy. It's America's favorite sports book. And if you want to sign up today, and you should, because we're having a lot of fun every day placing wagers on BetUS, make sure you use our code when you make your deposit. 5RSN125. If you use our code 5RSN125, they're going to give you a 125% sign up bonus. You bet, you win, you get paid. BetUS.com. And make sure you're checking out the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. Guys, it's going to be here before we know it. November 2nd, we are going to have a 5 Reasons Sports watch party for a Miami Heat road game. November 2nd, they're in Dallas to play the Mavericks. We're going to watch the game at the Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. It's going to be an awesome time. 2-for-1 happy hour will be flowing all night. Delicious burgers, awesome seafood, baby back ribs. The sandwiches are fantastic. Quarterdeck Seafood Bar and Neighborhood Grill. If you want to peep their menu or find the location nearest to you before you go, visit them at quarterdeckrestaurants.com. The Quarterdeck, come for the food, stay for the fun. Huge thanks to Sean Stanley. He's back, baby. And to Manny Chang. Manny was a little bit late into the show. He told me, he works out at Parks, and he had to come in a little bit late because his golf cart broke down. And I told him, bro, that's what a first world problem. My golf cart broke. The battery died on my golf cart. Oh, my God. We love Manny. We love all of you guys. We'll talk to you again tomorrow, 3 p.m. right here on the 5 Reasons Sports Network. Ciao.